Charlie Company was a cross-section of just your general basic young people at that point in time. We were from all over the country, you know, East Coast, West Coast, blacks, whites, Mexicans.
Their captain was almost a folk hero. Medina had come up through the ranks from a Mexican-American background. He related to the men. He was a hard man. He didn't give them an easy time, but they respected him, and many of them loved him.
The motto of the Army is follow me, and he was the type of individual you would follow anywhere and do anything for.
I found Captain Medina to be a very tough individual and very demanding. He wanted us to be something unique and different and, you know, strong and capable and a force to deal with. Captain Medina came up with the idea that we were going to be called the Death Dealers. He wanted us to carry aces of spades, and every time we killed a Viet Cong, we were to leave the ace of spades on it, so that, you know, they knew that it was from the Death Dealers.
Young lieutenants are not liked very well. Some are quite gung-ho. Some are quite interested in making a name for themselves. Calley was sort of a mixture. He wanted to fit in. I think when he found the military, he thought he found his calling. He found a place to fit in.
My first impression of Lieutenant Calley was he was always trying to please Captain Medina. He'd go out of his way to do things that were not called for, and trying to please Captain Medina, and that, to me, it made, in my mind, it made Captain Medina resent him even more.
Adequate, and Calley was always trying to do things to show that he was a real officer.
By asserting his rank, he basically shielded himself from his men. He isolated himself. Rank went to his head.
For the first month, it was like, where's the war? You know, we had a lot of free time. The lounges, you know, the bars, it was really nice. We said, hey, I could do this for a year. We'd walk through the villages, mostly women, children, older people. We really didn't encounter anything when we went. It didn't seem like there was a war going on over there.
He would go to a village, set up a perimeter. Medics and doctors would come in, treat the civilians, and we'd sit there and play with the kids, and there was nothing else to do. We always had fun with the kids.
When I was young, I saw American soldiers. Whenever they came, they would gather up everyone. They would bring cake and candy for the children. Everyone would have some, and then they would let us go home.
I never would have imagined, never would have thought Americans would kill us. When my children came home and asked if American soldiers were killers, I said, no, Americans don't kill.
Quang Ngai province had a reputation for 300 years for hating foreign occupying forces, whether they were Chinese, French, Japanese, or American.
We started pulling regular patrols end of January, beginning of February. Once we started down to the Pinkville area, we started to lose people. They were being picked off one by one. This is when we got our initiation into the realities of Vietnam with booby traps, mines, snipers.
The Quang Ngai area was called Pinkville because on the military maps it was shaded a bright kind of shimmering pink. The color pink took on associations for us that went way beyond anything you'll find on some color chart. It meant the prospect of death.
Weber was the first member that we lost. That had a real impact on the whole company because we actually had somebody killed now.
We were down by a river and walking on the rice paddies, and we were going down to this village. It was kind of in a corner of the river, and we started taking sniper fire. Lieutenant Calley wanted us to go across the river to where that sniper fire was coming from. We were walking along, and this huge explosion went off, and it knocked me to the ground, and it was Bobby Wilson had tripped a bouncing Betty.
Bobby was pretty well split in half, right up the middle. And Medina was running through the minefield, barking out orders. He seemed to be fearless.
He was split as if somebody had taken a cleaver right up from his crotch all the way up to his chest cavity. I've never seen anything that looked so unreal in my entire life. We took a poncho and we spread it out. The medic started to pick him up by the legs. I reached underneath his arms, placed him onto the poncho, and we set him on top of another mine. My company by this time had suffered approximately 25 to 28 casualties. I was down somewhere to the vicinity of 105 men.
Individuals would just come out of nowhere and do things that you just find hard to believe, you know. I remember one guy that held a young girl at gunpoint and made her perform oral sex on him, and then he cut off her ponytail and stuck it in his helmet. And it always mystified me how somebody could walk around with that ponytail and not get questioned about it. I don't think Medina had any interest in knowing all the details of what's going on out there.
We were a unit that was full of anger, frustration. We wanted contact. We wanted to fight the enemy. And we were told we were doing it.
I am a soldier, and I receive and obey the orders that are issued to me by my superiors. Their order was to kill or destroy everything in the village. The children happened to be there. The people of that village were Viet Cong or Viet Cong sympathizers. Maybe some see it differently. That's the way I see it.
I was a photographer on the operation of that day. I just photographed everything that I came upon. I was coming up to a group of people who were huddled, and they had some, American GIs surrounding them. One soldier spoke up and said, "Hey, here's a person with a camera." And sure enough, the soldiers backed off, and I moved up, and I took a photograph of these people. You can see the fear in the faces on there, especially the small children, and the older woman trying to protect the daughter. Then all of a sudden, that next instant, automatic fire. They were all shot, and they all dropped. I saw them drop to the ground.